Hello everyone, Magdalena here, Wolf of Coins. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we will be talking about, about fairy tales, but as you probably know, they store the ancient wisdom of our ancestors. And just yesterday, I was reading a fable of the Ayran Wolf. It is a Slavic tale. We find it in Polish versions, Belarusian versions, and some others as well. Also, the Ayran Wolf lives in the culture in a way that you can say, "Oh, why are you telling me of the Ayran Wolf?" Meaning, why are you telling me fairy tales? So its wisdom has been dismissed by the modern society, but I think it stores one of the very ancient stories of male initiation, and I thought it would be interesting to talk about it. And let's start. I'm excited. So many fairy tales, as I said, are ancient stories about rites of passage. But once the times changed, people didn't understand the stories anymore, so they changed them into more like pastime stories, then changed some details because they didn't understand. They did not fit their reality, let's say. But still, I think really a lot of ancient material survives. And for example, have you ever wondered why fairy tales are so full of evil stepmothers? Like, seriously, what's with that? So, originally, these were real mothers. Even in, I think in the 19th centuries, there were versions. Only after they were started being written down, like by Grimm brothers, I think they were starting to be adjusted, to be understood. Because why would a real mother be so cruel to her child? Why would she kick her out of the house or try to even kill her, right? What also happens in the tales, the story of initiation into adulthood gets merged with stories about getting married. So, we have this hero, he goes through difficult times, then he defeats an enemy and he marries the princess, right? Yeah. So we have some examples of fairy tales where these two types are separate, but very commonly they are put into one story. That is because each important change in your life, which are basically, I would say, the most important three are, well, of course, So becoming an adult, turning from an unmarried person to a married person, so starting your own family, and then dying, and this is together with being born in a way, dying, being reborn. So it required, in the older societies, it required a ritual to mark it. If you think about it, it is still so. It's less, I would say, conscious. Like if you think about all the rituals surrounding getting married or the funerals, it's full of old traditions. But so there used to be a ritual for each of these, and the framework for each of them was the same. It was the most basic thing was dying and being reborn. So either to another life or reincarnation, so being literally coming back to Earth. So this was usually the framework, the skeleton for the rites of passage of any type. You had to die as your old self in order to be reborn as your new self. So that's, for example, why the bride was supposed to cry and pretend not to want to get married in the old times. She was preparing for her ritual death in a way, right? And also, women's tears are a symbol of the living water and have like very powerful properties. They are very symbolic. And I've talked about it more in my video, The Goddess Lives On. I will put the link below if you haven't seen it. Generally speaking, all my Slavic pagan stuff and mythology related videos are on the playlist Slavic pagan stuff. So yeah, I will just show you. There is this picture of three princesses, no, just three women crying and creating a river. And as I said, it is an old idea. Yeah, here we have a picture of a very old figurine who cries, and the tears go into the breasts, which are the symbol of nurturing, life-giving powers. And these little guys here too. But anyway, you can check out that video. There's a little more about it. I don't want to talk about it right now too much because I have a lot to cover. So yeah, where was I? Oh, for example, in Hindu myths, we have this story, this example of Gauri, who was the fiancé of god Rudra. And there is the story like Rudra got offended by other gods. So she, his fiancé, she made a pyre and burned herself on it. It's like, it's one of those weird stories that we're like, wait, what? Well, it has a deep meaning because it is her rite of passage. She died then, but she was resurrected, and she was given a new name. It was now Uma, which means mother. So it's her new role as a wife. She will probably become, it's like a goal there, that she will become a mother. So she had to die and be reborn into this new role of the wife. So this is just one of the examples, but it really shows nicely what I'm talking about. So the story of the Ayran Wolf seems like a very ancient one. And also, if you are a sensitive person, you might want to not to watch it, actually, because there will be some drastic topics here. So if you're sensitive, then I advise you to skip this one. So yeah, also it's possible that this fable was an inspiration for Andrzej Sapkowski, the author of the Witcher series. When he was starting with the series, there was, of course, each short story is based on a fairy tale, but there are some elements that you might find familiar if you know the Witcher stories. Anyway, as I said, this is a story of male initiation, probably into a group of adult men. He is to become a man. From a boy, he turns into a man. So the story goes like this. There are, of course, many versions, so, you know, it's not easy to put everything like neatly, but I will do my best to to tell you the story properly. So a man or a king gets trapped somewhere in a pit or something like that, and to be free, he promises the Ayran Wolf something that he already has but knows not. And the Ayran Wolf can be also a devil, a sorcerer, something like that. In some versions it's literally a wolf that is made of iron, as you can see on this gorgeous, gorgeous picture. By the way, the book is, I'm reading it right now, it's the magical, let's say magical jobs. Okay. Yeah. So, wow. Where was I? Okay, so as I said, the man or the father. Okay, spoiler. That was a spoiler. Anyway, the king, the man, promises to the wolf something that he already has but knows not. He is saved by the wolf, returns home from his journey, from his trip, when he was away, to find out that his wife has just given birth to twins, a boy and a girl. And when the time comes, he takes them into the woods to the Ayran Wolf. Of course, and like more modern stories, it's like he doesn't want to do that, he tries to hide them, but in the end, the wolf takes the children. But there are versions that the father literally, it's not a king, it's just a poor man who takes them into the woods to kill them because they don't have any food to give to them. Much like with Hansel and Gretel. Anyway, so the boy and the girl are taken, and well, they are not children anymore, kind of, they are youngsters, let's say. And the wolf seduces the sister and convinces her to kill her brother. She does so, but he's resurrected by his animal friends who used a magical herb, and he kills the Ayran Wolf. He then punishes his sister, and in some versions it's a treacherous mother who did that, by burying her in the ground, so that only her head and arms are sticking out. Depending on the version, he then tells her she will be free when she cries a barrel of tears for him. Or alternatively, okay, now it's the drastic part. He puts some water and chopped bodies of the bandits that were supporting the Ayran Wolf for her to eat. And she eats them and drinks the water. And there's a version in which the sister stays with the wolves, who is not dead, obviously, and their children are first werewolves. I think it's in this book, actually. So she gave birth to first werewolves. This is the story. And what do you make of it? What would you think what did you think when you heard it? There are many tropes common for fairy tales here, for sure, like the rule of surprise that Andrzej Sapkowski used in his Witcher stories, like promising something that you don't know about. It's a child, it turns out, but yeah. So, this is my take on it. Of course, I can be wrong, but this is my interpretation. So the father promises the children to the Ayran Wolf. So for me, this is the ritual starts. Okay, so the father says they will be yours. And of course, this is, as I said, it focuses mostly on the male initiation. I think the role of the woman is different here. She's also kind of it might be echoes like also a female initiation here, but she has a different role here. Her kind of initiation here might be associating with this Ayran Wolf, like she's being seduced, so she's like going into his side here. But I wouldn't treat her necessarily as the one being initiated here. But she's with him. Also, as I said, sometimes it's a mother. Maybe, I don't know, maybe people didn't like it being the mother who kills her son, or who has aroma, like an affair with the wolf. They decided on the sister. But yeah, I think it's both kind of like it's both people changing it to adjust to their reality, plus some echoes of also female initiation. But there are tales, and I can talk about them if you like, that show female initiation as a focus. Okay, so the antagonist of the hero is the Ayran Wolf, and it's a male, definitely. And usually what during reading many tales, I realized that usually male heroes, we have male antagonists. And for girls, we have a woman, an evil witch, or a queen, or both. This is because the evil wolf or sorcerer, or sometimes it's the devil in newer versions, but here it shows, like, because it's an animal, I think it's a very ancient, it's this very ancient part of the story. So he is the one who initiates the person into the new community. So the boy, to become a man, has to be initiated by like a chief of the group of the men. So it has to be a man. And when a girl gets initiated into a group of women, she needs a female initiator. So the next trope, being taken to the woods or kicked away to go to the woods, is another very common thing in the fairy tales. Also, in more famous tales, we get, for example, Snow White, who lives in the woods with the dwarfs. Or, I don't know if this is in the Disney version, but the Sleeping Beauty, before she pricks her finger on the spindle, she lives for some time in a hut in the woods. In the modern version, this is so that the evil witch won't find her. But this is an essential part of the initiation, to be taken away from your home. Your parents are like giving you up in a way, turning on you. They are turning on you, right? And you are in the wilderness, in the woods. Also, we have one of my most beloved stories. We have the German Siegfried, or Scandinavian Sigurd. He grows up in the woods with the dwarf too. And in the Glass Mountain fairy tale, which is one of my favorite Polish fairy tales, the older brothers kick the hero out into the woods, where he gets where he learns the language of the birds. Also, Sigurd also learns the language of the birds. So these are all like, it's like a puzzle. There are these pieces that are there, and this is because there was a common theme to all of them. It was the rite of passage. So, another trope. A mother or a sister or a wife betrays the hero. Oh, I need to sip a bit of water. So yeah, one of them betrays the hero. And again, we have the example with Siegfried. His wife betrays him. It's Gudrun in Scandinavian version. In German, it's Kriemhilde. She unwillingly betrays him, and also his other wife, Brunhilde. She actually plots for him to be killed, and he is murdered. So, and many other stories, really. It's very common. For example, also in a Russian tale called The Magical Shirt, there's also a wife who betrays the hero. She chops his body into little pieces and then lives with his enemy instead. So it's a bit like the sister from this story, right? And there's also a tale in which a girl gets murdered by her sisters by being drowned, and she gets resurrected. So it's a very popular trope here. So they all have to die to be reborn. This is something that has to happen in the story. They are those wives or sisters or brothers or parents. They are not betraying the hero or the heroine. They are helping them on their journey to be reborn. Because if they are not killed, they cannot be reborn. And there are actually stories, like older stories, where the ritual got forgotten or rejected, and there are like consequences to not being reborn. But I'm digressing. Let's not digress. I have a lot of material to cover. So, as I said, they don't even have to be their blood relatives. They can be the ritual family, the ones who are already initiated. That's why in many stories we have like usually 3 siblings, and there are 2 older, like or sisters or brothers, and the youngest one is the main character. And the girl has sisters, and the boy has brothers. Also, so, and this one is usually the stupid one. Literally, in the Glass Mountain, the main character is called the Stupid One. He doesn't have a name. The Stupid One, and usually, yes, it's the youngest one. And why is that? It is symbolical of this person being not initiated. They are not wise yet, they are stupid, and they are younger to be initiated into the group of older people. So I was really stuck on the eating of the bodies of the bandits part, because it was like, yeah, weird, right? It is weird. But usually the weirdest things in the stories are the ones that have some meaning, like deep meaning there. But yeah, I was a bit stuck. I did understand the Barrel of Tears. As I said, I talk about it more in the Goddess Lives On video. But yeah, I was thinking about it, and I think today in the morning, actually, it was like I was half asleep, I think, or even asleep, but my brain kept working. And I got I connected the dots, because I've also been reading really cool books recently. Or actually rereading, like this one. Again, unfortunately, this is in Polish, but this is a wonderful book about Iranian mythology before Zoroastrism. Oh, how do you pronounce it in English? No clue. But yeah, this was my, I think, 3rd time with this book. But she talks a lot about similarities between Indo-Iranian mythology and Slavic mythology and traditions. Plus, she talks a lot about rites of passage, initiation, and such. So I got really inspired, and there is a story in this book. It's about a hero who got murdered, and then his mother got insane. She turned insane, and she tried to eat a snake. So it sounds absurd. Yeah, she got crazy. She was doing crazy stuff, right? But nothing in the myths is just like that. It's a totally different way of thinking. And if it was left there, it means it was important. If it was not changed through the ages. So in the ancient times, pregnancy was not, it was not really understood that you need a man to get pregnant. So there are very many stories of a woman or a goddess who got pregnant by eating a plant, swallowing a bug, taking a bath somewhere, so pregnancy through water. Of course, we have the story of Jesus too, being conceived, some say, through the ear, because Mary heard the good word and she got pregnant. Well, anyway. Also by... it was widely believed that snakes are responsible somehow for female pregnancy. For pregnancy. Is there any other? Sorry. So she tries to give birth to her son again, the woman from this story, right? So he got murdered and she wants to eat the snake, but the myth has already been changed, and people around her stop her from this lunacy, okay? So this all got me thinking, also in my brain, in the dreaming state. So yeah, I think that the puzzles got a bit jumbled here, and the hero is not resurrected yet. He needs to be reborn, so he needs a help from the woman, from the sister or mother or whoever, possibly in the ritual, a priestess. She doesn't have to be his kin, like blood relative for that. So, what happens, in my opinion, in the ritual? The woman goes underground, so in the story she gets buried in the ground. So we get the symbol of a woman as a mother, plus the earth as the womb, the like cave, or just the kind of, container. It can be a cup, the Holy Grail, the womb, generally speaking, that gives you the power to resurrect. And so she goes underground, and there, sorry again, drastic part, she symbolically, not really, but symbolically, she eats him, the hero. She eats the hero. It's, I think, it's not originally the body parts of some bandits, but it is him, in fact. And then she probably gives birth to him in that cave underground. She is the one who has the power of rebirthing. And she has the barrel of living water, right? The barrel of tears that was mentioned before. In the version where he wants the tears from her, it's not so that she can repent. Oh, I'm sorry, I killed you. It is something like he's dead and his soul is asking her to resurrect him, to give him the water. The living water is a very common thing in Slavic tales, and it's and it can bring youth back to you, and it can also like heal all your wounds, and it can bring you back to life. So yeah, she is the one who can resurrect him. And then, as I said, in this version that says that she's the mother of the first werewolves. Well, yeah, if she gives birth to the dead hero, he's reborn, he is now initiated into the fraternity of wolves, right? So he's a man wolf now. So he's been reborn. She actually did succeed in that. Yay! So yeah, that is basically it. Only one last thing. How long is the video now? Ugh, half an hour again. Well, sorry about that. I really tried not to make it too long, but this is so exciting for me, so you have to forgive me. So one last thing about the iron. You probably have heard that all around Europe, iron was believed to be a powerful material for amulets. That's also why, for example, a horseshoe is such a powerful amulet used still in some Polish houses, put on some houses. Also because of the symbol is the symbol of the horse, but let's not digress. Okay, so shamans would put iron on their clothes, not only to show their status, because iron was, of course, expensive. I had a cool picture somewhere here. I will find it. So not only to show their status, but I think also there's a cool picture of a shaman with these pieces of iron, but also because it was a strong protection against evil. And for a long time, I have also wondered about 3 objects known from very many Slavic stories, including a female initiation, and these 3 are the iron cap, iron walking stick, and iron shoes. And the girl had to use them, and I was wondering what's the meaning of it, because yeah, it was weird. And now I'm thinking, and the barrel of tears is usually there too. Let's not forget that. But I think now that these might have been like ritual objects worn for the ritual of initiation. So yeah. So this is my conclusion. Also, if we think about the wolf, he can be, even though, you know, he's the baddie here, can actually be like an incarnation of the father of the hero. Because yeah, we know many customs in which you like would dress up and pretend to be the antagonist to go through the initiation, and that's how most of the villains in fairy tales are born. These are people trying to help you, actually putting you through trials, trying to kill you, usually also originally probably killing you so that you could be reborn. And that's that. I would love to hear your thoughts about all this. Please let me know what you think. And if you would like me to continue with this topic, for example, do a video about female initiation, for example. And thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day. Bye.